Good afternoon. It's Miss B again, and I'm coming to you from IntellectualRadio.com. And I want to welcome you again on this Monday. Sorry for the delay, but we were holding so that our guest could get here. We got a little tied up in traffic. So I'm going to get started, and hopefully, I'm not going to say he will be here, and we will get a chance to speak with him because I know that you're going to enjoy him. He is one of my former students. He has gotten to the point where he now has his own product line. And we're going to talk to him and find out where he's come from to get to here. This is Miss B. Come into my garden on IntellectualRadio.com. And also today, a new feature. We're going to try and see if anyone would like to call in. You can. You can call in at 708-223-53. I'll say that number again, especially once we get our guest here, because you may want to have some questions for him. You know what we do. Let's sit back, relax, find your place in the garden, get quiet, breath, smell in the flowers. You see the lovely flowers today. Giselle's fixed me up again today. Don't forget, that's Modern Luxe Flowers, designs by Giselle. Another deep breath. Breathe in that energy, that good energy, that energy that's going to make you flow. And exhale anything that is not for your highest good. Anything that may have disturbed you today, let it go. Because we're going to have a lovely hour today. And I hope to inspire you just to reach a little higher, to open up a few more buds. Energy's flowing. And with that, I've got a couple of things that I'm going to say today. Over the weekend, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that happened over the weekend. Now, I don't know how many of you watch the Colbert Show on Channel 2 or CBS. I believe it was Monday night because he was talking about how he was coming back after being away for a while. And he had Kevin Hart on his show. Darlings, let me tell you, Kevin Hart is a funny man. But, you know, he's promoting his book now. And his book is called, let me find that here. His book is called I Can't Make This Stuff Up, Life Lessons. As he's talking to Colbert, he's telling about how he's doing this because he wants people to know that. Remember, I keep telling you, what you think, you bring about. What you are. And basically, that's what he's talking about in this book. If you can dream it and hold on to it, you can be it. Other thing that our guest is going to be talking about, because he's gone from a young man that he went to barber school and cosmetology school. And now, like I said, he has his own product line. But let me get back to Kevin and Colbert. And he's talking about one of the things that changed his life, that changed the trajectory of his career. He went to a comedy club, and as he tells it, it's a comedy club that beginning comics have gone to. And the guy that ran this club, he was the one that could, so to speak, have the Midas touch, and he could look at you and say whether you were going to make it or not. And he mentioned names like Seinfeld. Well, we know what happened with their careers. So Kevin Hart went on the show, and he did his act. And afterwards, he sat down, he talked to the guy, and the guy told him, he said, man, you need to get another line of work. He said, you're not going to make it doing this. And of course, Kevin left there dejected, as you would be if somebody that has touched other people and said, oh, yeah, you got it. And they tell you, you ain't going to make this. So he left. And he was talking to a friend of his. And the friend told him, he said, you care about someone else's opinion of you? So important. When you've got a dream or you've got a vision and it's something that you want to do and you believe in yourself, tells you that you cannot do it, isn't always the truth. It definitely is not your truth if it's your dream. They can't see what's inside of you. They don't know what's meant for you. And so he told the guy, he said, look here, if you're going to believe what this person has said, then I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Because if you don't believe in yourself, I can't believe in you. Probably the number one thing that we have to do with our lives. We got to look in that mirror and we've got to look at ourselves and know that we are worth everything that we are trying to do for ourselves. Going on with the appearances of everything that's going on. If had something to hold on to believe in, you got to have a seed. You got to be able to see beyond what's on TV, what's at the movies, what's playing on the records. They don't call them records anymore, do they? What's playing on the CDs or the MP3s, whatever. You have to know that that is not a life that you want to go for. You have to know that you want to go beyond that. Now, most of us that are of a certain age, we understand that. But our young people, they need to have a little more hope. Not a little, a lot. They need to stop trying to hurt one another. And that's going to take me to my second uh, event. I had the privilege of going to the DuSable Museum's Night of 100 Stars. And it was a wonderful affair. Usually, it's been held at the DuSable Museum, and I have been able to go to that a few times. However, it was at the Hyatt Regency on King Drive this time. And I'm told that they sold, they had over 700 people, and that room was full. And they had to turn down people for that event. It could be because one of the honorees was Chance the Rapper. Never seen him in person, so this was something new for me. But what was so special, being as I am, were his parents. And let me tell you, for a room full of predominantly black folks, a married couple of 25, I'm sorry, Mrs. Bennett said 26 years, to get up and proudly introduce their son. That was one of the most touching moments that I've seen. It's so rare that you get your, I'm trying to get a little verklempt here. It's so rare nowadays that a parent and laud you as their child. Pride that was in their parents, in his parents, was just wonderful. So, and the joke was that they were going to try and get someone else to do the introduction, someone else that had more of a name value. This brain of mine right now can't think of his name, but he was a comedian. But then Mrs. Bennett, Mr. Bennett said, no, I'm going to introduce my son. And they did. And he came up. And I mentioned those people that don't seem to have their dream or their hopes or their vision. Um, Chance said that unfortunately, encounter where someone had threatened him. Uh, and I just kind of gasped because here is someone who is trying to do the best that he can, not just for himself and his family, but for his community. I mean, to have someone that is in his 20s that is showing our state how to look after and care for the children with his donation to the public schools. how he goes around and he takes children around to get an idea that there's something more out here in the world than what you see on TV, one that should be cherished. Well, Saturday night, he got the Trailblazer Award from the DuSable Museum. Then on Sunday, and I'm sure a lot of you saw that, he got the Humanitarian Award on BET. I don't know what this young man will be doing 10 years from now, but the fact that he's doing all the wonderful things that he's doing now, God keep him. That's all I can say. God keep him. Now, there was something else I did want to say about Colbert and Kevin Hart as they're talking about his book. And Colbert started asking him about his mom and his dad. Extremely important to him because if it wasn't for his mom, he doesn't think he would be the man he is today. And a lot of us can say that. Father, on the other hand, they had issues. His father had issues. So that relationship was strained for a lot of years. But once Kevin had his children, he realized what his father was to him, and he was going to change that. And as he puts it, his kids think he's like the bomb. So as he's talking, he said, as a result of that, his father has turned himself around, and their relationship has turned around. Well, Steve, is it Steve Colbert? Colbert says, well, Mandela said, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping it spills on the other person. Well, Kevin Hart looked at Colbert and he went, What you talking about, man? How you go? How is that? I'm gonna know that, and I don't know that, man. I mean, he just went off. The fact that this man could quote Mandela as opposed to Hart being able to do it. I'm sure if you went on YouTube, you can probably find it. It'd sound much better coming from there than it is coming from me. Now, the third person I wanted to talk about was Margaret Burroughs. I know many of you know who Margaret Burroughs is. In case you don't, Margaret Burroughs is the woman who initially started the DuSable African American Museum. And I'm bringing her up because I mentioned her in a way that lets you know how long the museum has been around. The third, he received an award, and he received it from Linda Johnson Rice. Now, if you don't know who Linda Johnson Rice is, she is the daughter of the Ebony Magazine Johnson. So both of them talked about how when they were children, they used to go to the house of Margaret Burroughs, where she initially kept her finds before it became the wonderful museum in Washington Park. I'm telling you all of this because my theme today is about you always knowing that there is always something for you to do. If you've got a goal, you've got a dream, if you think it, you can make it happen. Okay, I'm going to tell you one of my stories. Years ago, I told you last week, I was in New York City. And while I was there, I used to go see the Alvin Ailey dancers. Now, when I was going back in the 70s, the prima donna dancer with Alvin Ailey was Judith Jamison. I loved watching Judith Jamison. I can't think of anyone that I have enjoyed more or thought was a more profound dancer than Judith. Well, because I used to love to dance, I used to see myself. I said, man, if I had taken dance lessons, I could have been up there. I could have been dancing with Judith Jameson. Fast forward to about, 5 or 6 years ago. Went to see the Alvin Ailey Dancers at the Auditorium Theater. And I'm sitting there and we're enjoying the show. And they started doing this dance where they sat around in like a semicircle. And as they're sitting in this semicircle, they would raise their hands up and they would go just like you do in the wave, and they'd go down. And then the last person in the chair, and then they would go back and they would do this again. Then the next thing you know, they're coming out into the audience and say, oh my, look at that. They started picking people and taking them back up to the stage. Well, this young man kept walking down the aisle toward where we were sitting. And I'm going, okay, he's coming this way. I wonder who he's going to pick. He kept coming and coming. And I was sitting in the last row up against the wall and the rail. And came up and he reached his hand out to me. And I went, oh my God, what do I do now? And they said, you better go home. I went, okay, all right. I got up, and fortunately, I was dressed for the part. I was ready. They say you got to be prepared and ready for your moment because you never know when it's going to happen. He led me back up to the stage, and I think we were the last ones to get back to the stage. So we're doing this dance, and the dancers are dancing with each of the partners that they brought up. Child, started to get hot. And I started to go, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. Say, okay, God, you can't let me go down like this. I didn't come this far. I'm dancing with the Alvin Ailey dancers. Please, please don't let me go out like this. See, I have had a propensity in the past to faint. And I was so terrified that they were going to have to carry me off the stage. The trooper that I am, I did go down, but I swooned. So I just kind of went down. And then the dancer was saying, are you all right? Are you? I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I didn't go out. So he helped me up to my feet, and we made it through the dance. And then after it was over, they let us off, and they let us off through this side door. Well, child, once I got out the side door, I didn't know where I was. So then I had to find my way back to my seat. Thankfully, my brother, he was there, and I could hear him calling my name. And so he found me and led me back to my seat. Now, for some people, that might have been the most terrifying experience of their life. But for me, that was probably one of the most wonderful experiences of my life because one of my dreams came true. I danced with the Alvin Ailey dancers. And as far as I'm concerned, I kept into the theme of the dance. I was the last one up, so my doing the swoon was okay because the last dancer did the swoon. I know I'm crazy, but that's okay. You'll get used to that. My point is that a dream. This is the month in New Thought of imagination. So June is the month of imagination, which means that anything that you can imagine, dream big. And once it's there, once you plant the seed and you nurture it and you think about it, it may not come when you want it to come, but God knows it always comes right on time, no matter what we're going through. If you don't let anybody take you from that path, my goodness, look at Oprah. To Chicago. I came back to Chicago around the same year that Oprah came to Chicago. Or, but it doesn't matter because her dream, and she had a focus. When you have a focus, when you have one of those razor sharp focus, like a Kevin Hart, Oprah Winfrey, Chance the Rapper, when you know what you know, what you know, then you go where you go. I That's something I want to read to you. It's something that I wrote. I'm finding my little pieces as I go along, and It goes, I stretch myself to be light, a light that all can see, the light that was given me throughout eternity. My spirit has waited far too long to waken the bee in me, the bee I am and always should be. I am the key to my infinite golden riches. There is no spot where God is not, because there is no spot where God is not. My perfect health of mind, body, spirit is my golden intrinsic value. All that is not for my highest good shall pass. As the waters of love, peace, prosperity flow over the golden veins of my whole and complete selves. You have to find things to say to yourself every day to affirm the best, that there is nothing in you. There's nothing in you that can't grow. There's nothing in you that you can't achieve. God gave it to you. You are a friend, and you need to know that. Nobody else tell you differently. All right, I'm looking at where we are on time, and I'm waiting on my guest, and they haven't gotten here yet. So I know what I'm going to read to you. This is from a lesson that we had yesterday, and it's about the laws of the universe. There are universal laws that aren't changeable. It's like math, 2 and 2 equals 4 all the time, and music, the notes are the same all the time. It's like the spiritual laws are the same all the time. So I'm going to read this to you. Now, let's be clear. Some of us think that the law of compensation is only relative to monetary ambition or status. It works in every aspect of your lives, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. The law of compensation is really about mindset. Remember, I tell you what you think, belief of giving, and the intent behind it or the variation driving it. If we choose to play the game of give to get, and the intent is to manipulate the system or individuals to move us further along, this type of belief is a grievous, malicious use of the law. Experiences that come after this are called the outworking of the law. Our decisions in how we sow our seeds causes the effects of our reaping. So, when you put it out there, that's what you're going to get back. So, when you call somebody a low down dirty dog, somebody around the corner might be saying the same about you for whatever reason. So, give love, give respect, because what you give, you get in return. When I was a kid growing up, my dad used to tell us, and from the barbershop, he used to say, because we had there were a lot of winos and, around the neighborhood. But one thing was for sure, no one disrespected my dad because my dad gave everybody the same respect as being a human being. And I know this because when my brother and I would be out playing and one guy would maybe say something that he shouldn't have said, and another guy would say, "Oh man, don't talk like that. Those are Skipper's kids. No man, you got don't do that because Skipper wouldn't like that." My father had the respect of everyone in the neighborhood, and that's all that I've tried to do. And he also said, if you don't get your respect, then you need to look at that person and, excuse me, Did I do something to you? And if you can't get it, then move on. And in the business that I'm in, when it comes with dealing with people in the barbering business, especially the students, that is sometimes a difficult process of life. Need to understand when you're working with people, you never know who somebody is. You never know who somebody's going to become. Let's take Oprah Winfrey, for instance. I used to see her around the station. I'd always nod and speak, because I'm okay. She had a television show. I mean, knowing where that was going to go, I would have tried to get a little closer. But that wasn't for me. My students, I have to get them to understand that when someone walks into that school, you don't know who they are. You don't know their station in life. We've had judges, lawyers, policemen, future basketball players. There have been all kind of people that have come through there and have gone on to the point where if I see them on the street today, they know my name because I always treated them with respect, especially my young people. I encourage my young people, especially my young guys, and they need all the encouragement they can get. I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue, and hopefully my guest will be here. Thank you. This is Miss B on IntellectualRadio.com.
A licensed barber is a career and an art, one that will always allow you the freedom of choice and an opportunity to reach your goals. McCoy Barber College offers a focused 1,500-hour course in barbering, and when completed, you qualify to get a license by the state of Illinois as a professional barber. The barber industry needs sincere individuals who want to become licensed barbers. Now, as that's you, visit McCoyBarberCollege.net and see how you can change your life by becoming a licensed barber. Or if you prefer speaking with a McCoy advisor, give us a call at 773-221-6700. Someone is available to speak with you right now. 773-221-6700. McCoy Barber College, where legends are created and lives are changed.
Okay, we're back. Unfortunately, on that break, I found out that our guest is not going to make it. He's gotten really caught up in traffic, and I can understand that. I'm learning how to take shortcuts and get out of it. So prayerfully, we'll be able to reschedule him at a future time. I will tell you, his name is James Lachey, and he went to McCoy Barber College in the 90s, and he uh, um, see, I got a little flustered because he's not going to be here. He went to McCoy Barber College in the 90s, and he was also one of the many participants in the Proud Lady Hair Show, where he took home a trophy. When he finished Barber College, he went on to cosmetology school. He went to Dudley's Cosmetology School. Cosmetology school, he started working in the shop. He got into natural hair care, doing braids and dreads, and he had his own shop for a while. And he worked with a young man who did barber supplies, and they used to go to all the shows selling their barber supplies. This, he developed a hairline product for the care of your braids, your dreads, and your beards. And I wanted to have him here so he could tell us about his prehistory. His prehistory, well, his history before McCoy Barber College, and how it brought him there, and he continued. I know he's had a little rough go uh, along the way, but he seems to have overcome, and that's the story that I wanted him to tell. And another note on James is that his daughter recently graduated from high school and was accepted into Howard University. And that to me was a joy to hear. When the young men started coming to McCoy, it was in the, about the middle 80s. And they came to school. At that time, when you went to barber school, you went because you did not know how to cut hair. These young men came to school because they decided they wanted to get a license. They had no idea what they were going to be going through. They had no idea what it took, but they made the decision that they wanted to get a license. To me, Ms. B. And they realized that it wasn't just about cutting some hair, what was in that theory book. You had to learn about the head, face, and the neck. And you also had to learn that there was a proper way. You weren't going to wear your caps ace deuced on the side. You weren't going to wear your pants dropped to your knees. And you weren't going to curse, play hip hop. You were going to find out that you were going to become a professional. You were going to find out that you needed to save money that you earned. You were going to find out that you had to present yourself a certain way and be courteous to your clients and know that you didn't call a client old boy or old dog. You called a client sir or ma'am, and you learned to listen. Those are just some of the things that they had to learn. And in the beginning, it was rough because they came in wanting to do what they wanted to do. And anybody that knows me knows that that wasn't the way that house was run. It took some time, but we finally got it to a point where everybody understood everybody and you knew what you had to do. Everyone didn't make it, but for those who did, I am so very proud. I'm going to cut today's show short because I had expected to be having this delightful conversation with James. So I'm going to save that. Hopefully, we will have that soon, maybe sometime next month. And I want you to know it has been my pleasure having you in the garden today. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you next time.
A licensed barber is a career and an art, one that will always allow you the freedom of choice and an opportunity to reach your goals. McCoy Barber College offers a focused 1,500-hour course in barbering, and when completed, you qualify to get a license by the state of Illinois as a professional barber. The barber industry needs sincere individuals who want to become licensed barbers. Now, if that's you, visit McCoyBarberCollege.net and see how you can change your life by becoming a licensed barber. Or if you prefer speaking with a McCoy advisor, give us a call at 773 221 6700. Someone is available to speak with you right now. 773 221 6700. McCoy Barber College, where legends are created and lives are changed.